Hey everyone, it's Kim with your Angel GPS, and I'm back with your messages and guidance for the upcoming week, March 31st through April 6th. And the deck that I used for this week's reading, or ended up using I should say, is the Angel Tarot deck, but this isn't actually the deck that I started off with. More about that later. There are a lot of little interesting twists and turns and things going on with this week's reading, so I really had a lot of fun doing it this morning. Another interesting little twist that we had, instead of 3 cards for this week, I have 5 for you. When I went to draw the first card for this week, 2 cards came out. When I went for the second card, 2 more cards came out. The third and final card, luckily we only got 1 card for that, otherwise we'd probably be here all day at the rate I was going. So let's go ahead and get started since we have 5 cards to get through. The first card, one of the first cards that I drew this week, is the Justice card. And the second card that came up alongside of it is, there we go, is the Renewal card. You'll notice these are both Major Arcana cards, which means significant life events. And the Justice card, it's basically talking about making fair and just decisions from the heart, and just going deep inside and doing what you know is right, and standing up for your beliefs, and making decisions based on what you truly in your heart know is the right thing to do and the right way to do things. The Renewal card is talking about reviewing and reevaluating, and making assessments of the situations and whatnot. It's talking about favorable assessments. So basically when if I can talk this morning, I'm discombobulated with all these cards here. With the Renewal card, like I said, it's evaluating and reviewing and just kind of deciding what it is that you really want. And when you're making decisions from the heart and doing what you know is right, you will have a good assessment of exactly where you are and where you want to be. And it could be, there I go again. It could very well be that this is really the time for you right now to make some serious changes. It could be that you've had something going on that you've been thinking about, maybe taking a change of direction. In fact, the Renewal actually says time to move in a new direction. So if there's a new course you've been wanting to move your life into, some really significant changes that you really want to start implementing, possibly you maybe ran it by some other people and they may have kind of knocked it down saying, oh, that's not really a good idea. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Think about this, think about that. And of course, you probably already have thought about these things, but they put that little inkling of doubt in your mind. And that's what the Renewal card is talking about, is stepping back and reviewing and evaluating. And again, standing up, doing what you know is right for you, and going ahead and making those changes. A lot of times people will tell you it's not a good idea to make changes, and it's not a good idea to make, suddenly turn around and start moving your life in a whole new direction, because they don't want to see you change. You may be all about this change, and it is the best thing for you, but people don't always like change, and they might like things the way they are because it's to their benefit, not necessarily yours. So they might kind of not want you to make changes because they're not comfortable with change. So don't let any of that get to you. Like I said, just review, reevaluate things, and just listen to your heart and do exactly what you know is right. And it could very well be that it is time for you to start moving in a new direction. We've been talking a lot about change lately, and a lot of the energy and a lot of changes coming up, so this really is the time. And that's why we have 2 cards for that this week, 2 Major Arcana cards for this week, talking about standing up for your beliefs, doing what's right, and go ahead and starting to move in that new direction. The second, or third and fourth cards, I should say at this point, cards that I have for you are the 6 of Fire, and we also have the Page of, the Page of Fire. Both fire cards. Like I said, a lot of little quirks going on with this reading this week. First 2 cards, Major Arcanas. Our second 2 cards are both the Suit of Fire. And both of these cards are talking about good news and victory and success. They're really, really positive cards, but not just saying, oh, hey, this is going to be great. It's like exciting. The Suit of Fire refers to relates to anything that really ignites that little spark of excitement inside of you, whatever kind of makes you giddy and makes you want to go, woohoo, that sort of thing. So whatever that passion is, that's probably the direction that you need to start moving into, where we talked about, make sure I have the right card, I have so many in front of me this morning, with the Renewal card saying time to move in a new direction. You really need to start moving yourself in the direction of those things that just really, really strike that chord inside of you and really get you excited. And once you actually make those changes and you make those decisions and you've committed yourself saying, okay, this is it, this is what I'm going to do, as these 2 cards are telling you to do, you're going to find opportunities are coming up for you. Now that you've made that decision, you've opened the door for things to really start flowing to you. And with the Six of Fire, it's talking about victory, and it's saying good news is coming to you. Being in the fire suit, we're not talking about somebody calling and saying, hey, good news, the gas prices just went down. We're talking about something really exciting, really great news for you, new opportunities, new information that you really needed, just all great things. So look for good news in that front as far as those changes that you're making. These doors are going to start opening for you. And the Page of Fire is also talking about, again, about good news and success. It's just, it's exciting times. Both of these cards are just, they're very exciting. New opportunities, new experiences coming for you. So it is really important. Again, that's why the angels were really stressing here with the major life event, the major arcanas, to do what you know is right and move in that new direction. Once you evaluate things, decide, okay, this is it. I'm really going to go for it, because you've now opened all these opportunities up for you. Exciting news, great news, victory, exciting new endeavors, opportunities coming to you. You really want to open those floodgates and let that start flowing to you now. And our third and final card, we once again have another major arcana, is the High Priestess. And several messages come out on this card. One of them is encouraging you to use your intuition, which is exactly what we were talking about back here with both Justice and Renewal, about just really listening to your heart, going with your gut feelings, and just knowing that this is right for you, this is the right thing, this is the right decision to make, and standing up for those beliefs because you know they are right. That's where you're listening to your intuition, because your intuition is nudging you in the direction that you need to be moving in right now. So the High Priestess wants you to know to use your intuition and make these decisions when you're evaluating and doing things. And it's also telling you to be patient. I know this sounds really great, and it's like, well, this is really going to be happening for me. I want it to happen now. But do be patient. But you don't jump into things, and don't sit down and decide in the next 5 minutes that, I mean, unless you've been thinking about it and this is encouraging you to make that final decision. But don't just jump into decisions and jump into things thinking you're going to make things happen faster. Really take the time to think about it, using that intuition, and just make that decision from your heart. But let it come naturally when you do make that decision. This good news is coming, this victory, this exciting new endeavors, the opportunities, they are coming for you, but don't try to rush them and don't try to force the issue. Because when you do try to force things to happen and you rush them, and eventually the universe is going to say, okay, you can have it. But it might not be the exactly right time for you, and you could miss out on a certain aspect of an opportunity or a certain experience or something that you're going to be having, because you rushed it and you didn't really allow it to develop to its full potential before it came to you. So I know it's exciting and everybody always wants it, especially when they find out good news and exciting new things. They always want it right now, but the High Priestess is letting you know, do be patient. It is coming to you. You've got to follow the steps though, so make sure you keep that in mind, and just know you're going to start seeing small things flowing into your life. Just kind of ride that little wave and let it grow bigger and bigger until it finally manifests at its full potential. So do give it time to develop. And that's all I have for you as far as a reading goes this week. I was talking earlier about having to start with 2 different decks. So many little quirks going on with the two major arcanas for the first card, the 2 fire cards for the second card. And actually, when I sat down to do this reading, I started off using, here it is, the Archangel Power Tarot deck. And I started shuffling and drawing the first card. And the first card that came up, as I'm shuffling away, it just kind of fell out of the deck. The first card that came out of that deck for this week's reading was also the Justice card. But the odd thing is, I kept shuffling. I was like, okay, there's my first card, great. And I started shuffling and shuffling to get the second card. And after a few minutes of shuffling, I wasn't getting any more cards. And it's kind of hard to explain, but the deck itself it wasn't feeling right in my hands. And I just kept getting the urge to get up and get a different deck. And finally, I gave in to that. I listened to my intuition. Who knew? And I did get up and I got the one that we used today, the Angel Tarot deck. And once I did that, again, the first card to come up along with Renewal was the Justice card. So obviously that was an important message from both decks that the angels really wanted to get across to you. But once I started shuffling with this deck, the cards just felt right, and they just came out one after another, basically 5 times. But it came very quickly. So it's kind of funny how these things actually do work. You would think a tarot deck is a tarot deck, but specific cards in the different decks do have some specifically different meanings, so obviously that Justice card was one that they really wanted to get across to you, but all the other messages, I had the wrong deck apparently. So I thought that was kind of fun, wanted to share that with you. So as I said, that's all I have for readings for you for this week. I do need to remind you that, of course, these readings are general readings and they're not always going to apply to everybody at all times. So if there's something else that's going on that you really want some answers for and this doesn't really address any of these concerns for you and you just really need some other answers, go ahead and get in touch with me. We can set you up with a private reading. You can either request a reading through my website, yourangelgps.com, or just email me directly, kim@yourangelgps.com, and we can take it and go from there and get you the answers and the guidance that you do need. So that's it for this week. I will see you back next weekend with more messages and guidance. I'll see you then.